All right, so let's see if the audio is okay. Yeah, perfect. How's it going, everyone? I hope you all are doing great. I am back with another daily analysis. As always, I'm gonna start off with the Forex analysis. And to be more exact, I'm gonna start off with Euro USD, where we have a bearish setup. Okay, right here we have this aggressive break towards the downside. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the area of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. The 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph, and so far we had a very nice and corrective pullback. So pretty much all of our confluences are in place. All we need to do now is wait and see if or when it will trigger. On AUD CAD, we have another bearish opportunity. We have a continuation of this downtrend with this aggressive break towards the downside. Liquidity was swept beforehand as well right here. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the point of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. The daily and the 4-hour are both bearish on the trader graph, and it is safe to say that so far we had a corrective pullback, which is exactly what we want. Now, same as on Euro USD, we need to wait and see if it will trigger our entries. All right. Next up, we have Euro NZD. That is looking pretty bearish. We have a bearish shift in momentum here. Liquidity sweep, followed by a aggressive break towards the downside. We have a tiny fair value gap here, lining up with the point of interest. And now, the last thing that we need to wait for is a corrective pullback, because the momentum is clearly to the downside right now. All right, that's what we need to wait for. Euro CAD looking bearish as well. Right here we have another bearish shift in momentum. We have a liquidity sweep caused by this fake out, followed by this impulsive break towards the downside. We have this unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest of this bearish range. And now we need to wait once again for a corrective pullback in order for us to take this setup. USD CHF looking bearish as well. We have a continuation of this downtrend with this bearish break of structure that took price lower and left imbalance behind. We have this fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest. The trader graph is fully bearish, which is great. And now all we need to wait for is a corrective pullback towards our fire zone. Euro CHF looking pretty similar, also bearish, and has been bearish for the past couple of weeks. Right here we have an aggressive break, liquidity sweep before the aggressive break, a fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest. The trader graph is fully bearish, and now we need to wait and see if we manage to get a corrective pullback or not. On GBP JPY, we have another bearish opportunity, very aggressive break towards the downside. Liquidity was swept beforehand as well. We have this unmitigated order block lining up with the premium area of this bearish range, as well as with this bearish trader order block. The trader graph is fully bearish once again, and now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. CAD JPY coming up next with another bearish opportunity. Aggressive break, liquidity was swept beforehand. Once again, we have an unmitigated order block lining up with the premium area of this bearish range, as well as with this tiny bearish trader order block. The trader graph is fully bearish. And lastly, once again, we now need to wait for the corrective pullback. Euro JPY looking pretty similar as well, continuing this downtrend, okay, with this impulsive break towards the downside. We once again have a unmitigated order block that is lining up with the premium area as well as with this bearish trader order block. The graph is fully red, which is great, and now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. JPY looking pretty similar as well. This one is looking even more aggressive, okay, even more aggressive. Price has been very bearish lately, okay, has been moving towards the downside very aggressively, and right here we have a continuation of that. We have this aggressive break, liquidity was swept beforehand as well. We have this unmitigated order block that is lining up perfectly with the area of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block, and the trader graph is fully bearish as well. And so far this looks pretty corrective, so we definitely want to see a continuation of that. Odd NZD is looking bearish as well. Right here we had a bearish shift in momentum. Okay, after price moved upwards, right here it swept liquidity, and after that it decided to have a shift in momentum and it broke structure very impulsively to the downside. We have this fair value gap lining up with the point of interest. Above it we have a bearish trader order block as well. The 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph, and so far this looks very corrective to me. So we definitely want to see a continuation of that towards our fire zone. USD JPY looking bearish, continuing this downtrend with this aggressive bearish leg that took price lower and left imbalance behind. Liquidity was swept beforehand as well. Right here we have this unmitigated order block lining up with the premium area of this bearish range as well as with this bearish trader order block. Daily and the 4-hour are both bearish on the trader graph, and now we need to wait for our final confirmation, which is a corrective pullback. Odd CHF looking bearish, aggressive break, fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. Trader graph is fully bearish, and so far we have a corrective pullback, so we want to see a continuation of that. CHF JPY once again bearish looking. We have a lot of bearish setups and potential setups. Aggressive break, unmitigated order block lining up with the premium area as well as with this bearish trader order block. The 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph, and now we need to wait for our final confirmation. NZD USD coming up next. Oh, finally we have a bullish setup. Right here we have a bullish shift in momentum. We have a sweep caused by this fake out, followed by a impulsive break towards the upside. We have this fair value gap lining up with the point of interest. The daily is bullish on the trader graph, and now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. NZD CAD looking bullish as well. Pretty similar actually to NZD USD. A very cool bullish shift in momentum. We have a liquidity sweep, textbook liquidity sweep, followed by a aggressive break towards the upside. We have this fair value gap lining up with the point of interest. The momentum is definitely to the upside, and now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. USD CAD with a bearish opportunity. Okay, right here we have a bearish shift in momentum. We have a liquidity sweep followed by a impulsive break towards the downside. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the point of interest, and now we need to wait for a continuation of this corrective pullback towards our fire zone. And lastly, we have GBP CAD with a textbook bearish opportunity. We have an aggressive break, a fair value gap lining up with the area of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. The 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph, and so far the pullback is very nice and corrective, so we definitely want to see a continuation of that. And yeah, on that note, we'll end today's Forex analysis right here. As always, if there's any other questions, make sure to reach out on Discord. Now I will go over today's metals analysis, starting off with gold, where things look pretty bullish. We have this aggressive break towards the upside that left imbalance behind. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the point of interest as well as with this bullish trader order block. The trader graph is fully bullish as well, and now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. And on silver, we have a bearish opportunity that just triggered. Okay, both of our entries triggered, and they are currently running around the entry price. The reason I took this setup is very simple. I saw a aggressive move towards the downside. Liquidity was swept beforehand as well. A fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest. Above it, a bearish trader order block as well. And the daily and the 4-hour were both bearish on the trader graph as well. And of course, lastly, I waited for a corrective pullback, which we managed to get. Okay, this looks corrective to me. And now both of the entries triggered, and we just need to wait and see how they will play out. And yeah, that's about it when it comes to the metals analysis. Make sure to reach out on Discord if there's any further questions. And now I will go over today's indices analysis, starting off with US 30, where I was able to identify a bullish opportunity. We have this aggressive break towards the upside that left a very small imbalance behind, but nonetheless, we have a fair value gap right here, lining up with the point of interest. The trader graph is fully bullish, which I really like. And now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. SPX coming up next. On this one, I wasn't really able to identify anything new. Yes, this looks bullish. However, I wasn't able to identify a bullish range because in our area of interest, I wasn't able to identify a unmitigated order block or a fair value gap. And lastly, on NAS100, this bearish opportunity just triggered our first entry. Okay, and running in some small profits literally as we speak. The reason I took this setup is very simple. I saw this impulsive move towards the downside. I saw that liquidity was swept beforehand as well. I was able to identify this tiny fair value gap that is lining up with the point of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. And lastly, the pullback has been a corrective one as well. So now we just need to wait and see how this one will unfold. And yeah, on that note, we'll end today's indices analysis right here. As always, you should reach out on Discord if there's any other questions. And lastly, I will go over today's crypto analysis, starting off with Bitcoin, where things look pretty bearish. However, I wasn't really able to identify a new valid bearish range. Hence why we're just going to leave the chart as is and move on to the next crypto coin, which is Ethereum. On this one, same exact story. Although things look pretty bearish, I wasn't really able to identify anything new. Hence why we won't force anything and move on to the next one. Here on Dogecoin, same story. Things look bearish. However, I wasn't able to identify a valid bearish range just yet. And what do we have next? XRP, this one triggered both of our entries and currently running at around the entry price and in a small drawdown. The reason I took this setup is very simple. I saw this very aggressive move towards the upside that broke multiple highs. Okay, after that I saw that we have a fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest. Daily and the 4-hour both bullish on the trader graph, and the pullback has been pretty corrective as well. So now that the entries have been triggered, we just need to wait and see how it will play out. And lastly, we have Solana, where things look pretty bearish, same as on the other coins besides XRP. However, I wasn't able to identify anything just yet. Hence why we'll just leave it as is and come back to it a bit later. And yeah, on that note, we'll end today's crypto as well as the overall daily analysis right here. As always, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all on the dark side. Take care.